just some housekeeping rules. First, note that everyone is gonna be muted. If you have any questions, use the chat box, please. And we will take good pictures at the end. So you might be requested to turn on your camera so we can have the group pictures. Thank you once again for joining the webinar today of the Institute of Information Management, the Premier Institute for Standard Certification, Competence and Research and Information Management, Data Privacy and Protection. So today, we'll be looking into understanding and effectively leveraging large language models, which is the LLM, and generative AI. We all know that currently in the industry that the common trends now, the hype on AI, okay, is there. It's good as information and data management and privacy practitioners and record managers to understand and how you can effectively leverage the use of this generative AI. Understanding that we had this topic before, right? This is now a continuation for those of us that attended the previous ones. This is a continuation and in a different perspective. So as we start, I would like to read out the profile of the speaker.
Good evening, Mr. Anago, are you still there? Okay, I think it was a network glitch. Let's give him about 1 minute for him to join back. Apologies.
We have the honor and privilege to introduce today's speaker. Is Mr. Yobalogun, one of our distinguished fellow at IIM USA chapter. Mr. Balogun, you have the floor. I believe you are in best position to do justice to your introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the privilege to present again. Give me a second so I can turn on my camera. Okay. Can everybody see me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, great. So my name is Tayo Balogun, as previously introduced. We had a seminar previously, I think it was in September or August, and it had something to do with LLM. Can we mute everybody, please?
Done.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So today we'll be talking about understanding and effectively leveraging. Everybody, please keep your mics muted. And if you have any questions, type them into the chat box or wait until after the presentation, then you can ask your questions. So as I was saying, I'm excited to guide you through this fascinating presentation. We'll be talking about how to leverage LLMs and generative AI. The last presentation that I facilitated was more targeted towards business people and technology people. This, on the other hand, is open to everyone. So please pay attention, make notes so you can have questions, because at the end of the presentation, I want to be able to walk us through like a practical step-by-step process of being able to use LLM and generative AI to better your business or better yourself in your whatever profession you're in. So without further ado, we begin. Yes, thank you. My name is Tayo Balogun. I have over 20 years of cybersecurity experience. I have worked in Nigeria. I currently work in North America. I'm co-founder LinksUp.work, a platform that helps connect users and service providers. I also founded Techmox.tech, a cybersecurity platform providing cybersecurity services to small businesses. And that's my LinkedIn profile beneath for anyone who's interested in connecting. So we start by delving into generative. I'm sure that a lot of people, if not everyone here, most of the people have heard in one way or the other what generative AI is. But in this case, we're referring to systems that are capable of generating new content. You know, there's AI that's capable of helping you manipulate data, but when we talk about generative AI, we're referring to systems that can generate fresh content, unique to them, that had not been seen before. We're talking about, it could be text, it could be music, it could be video, any kind of content at all. And fortunately, we have different kind of generative AIs for the different parts. So for text, for instance, you have the OpenAI GPT, which is the most popular one that we all know about when we talk about ChatGPT. We have the DALI. We have Runway's Gen 3, Gen 2, then there's Gen 3 Alpha. It's still in alpha mode. And then we have one that's specific to music. So the Runway one, for instance, is exclusive to videos. If you want to make like really cool videos, that's the one for it. The one for image is that, but GPT is the one that's specific to text generation. Can you move to the next stage, please? Now, when we talk about LLMs, so that with LLMs, we have GPT-4, which is the most popular with a lot of people, because anytime people hear about generative AI, the first thing that comes to mind is what's it called? Is ChatGPT. You know, so and generative AI is, as we talked about, as I briefly mentioned about LLMs, right? There's generative AI and there's LLM. LLM is the generative AI refers to like it's like an umbrella platform for everything. Generative AI is like an umbrella platform for everything. LLM is kind of specific to language modeling. So when you're talking about transcription, when you're talking about fresh text generation and all that, that's where LLM comes in. So if you open your ChatGPT and you type in something, it's basically LLM at work. So just so we don't confuse you with the terms, at some point we might interchange LLMs with generative AI. So all LLMs would fall under generative AI, but not every form of generative AI has to be LLM. Just so we clear that part. And the key points to note as we delve deeper And please, when we use like really technical concepts or technical terms, don't let it bother you. If there's anything you'd like to know more about, because what we're trying to do is just scratch the surface in a way that makes it easy for anybody to be able to use it, to understand enough to use it. So if there's anything, while we're discussing, if there's anything that you're confused about, please make a note and then we can address it in the question and answer section. So some of the things to be talking about is there's the generative adversarial network. I mentioned that the last time we had the previous webinar. And these models work by pitting two neural networks against each other. Neural networks are like a connection of systems that are responsible for processing things on a real-time basis. It's kind of the way the neurons in our brains are wired. So that's why they call them neural networks, because they try to simulate data processing and data flow in a way that's seamless and makes it work like you're dealing with a very large human brain, a human brain with very large capacity for processing. So that's why it. So basically, with the generative adversarial network, we have two parts. There's the generator and there's the discriminator. Generator is responsible for generating content. The discriminator is responsible for evaluating that content to see if it meets certain predefined criteria to be considered authentic. If I say ChatGPT draw me or whatever generative AI model draw me something, while it's what the generator will take the input, and we'll talk more about this, or just mention this again when we talk about input processing and output. It will take in the instruction, generate content, then the discriminator will look at the content that's been generated and evaluate if it fits into what an ideal output should be. If it doesn't, it will send it back. The generator will generate again. The discriminator will discriminate until it gets to the perfect point that's presentable to people. And all this happen like really nano time scale that we can't fathom, but it's really fast, so you don't know that it's happening. So there's also the variation audio encoder, and this one it utilizes encoder decoder architecture and learn the underlying distribution of data. Like if you supply a lot of data, it's responsible for helping to know which one comes first. If you use words, for instance, to be able to understand the sentence that you typed in or dictated, it needs to be able to know which word comes first or how the words should follow each other to be able to make some kind of sense. If I say, if I throw 5 words at it, like sit down, I eat, it might assemble it to mean I sit down, or sit down, I eat too. It might assemble it to mean that I sit down to eat. There may be another sentence that would use the same combination of words to make sense, but this is what makes the easiest sense. I sit down to eat, right? So the VAE part, the variation audio encoder is responsible for doing that. Then there's the diffusion model, which is more popular with images. And what it does is when it's responsible for fine-tuning images until you get a model that's good enough to present as final output. Then there's auto regressive model, and these ones responsible for predicting elements in next sequence based on the previous elements. And all this is some kind of science behind language. So if you hear about NLP is basically language processing. So all this work have gone into ensuring that that these systems are here and they work to provide the best output we can get in terms of reasonableness, in terms of uh, appropriate interpretation, and in terms of efficiency. So all that's the kind of work that has gone into generative AI and especially large language models. Please, and okay, we have, I know, like I said, GPT is the most common. There's the Pathways language model, which is from Google. There's the Claude, there's the Llama from Facebook, Meta. There's Big Science, Language Open Science, Multilingual Language Model, which is Bloom. Then there's the AI, there's the Grok AI, XAI, Grok, Elon Musk, X, formerly known as Twitter. So we have a list of all these, and they are all just basically more LLMs than generative AI. Please, next slide. So like I mentioned previously, so this is a three-step process. You have input, which is you type text, or you import text from some other platform, or you upload text-based content and let it process and provide an output for you. So we this is a three-step process. Like we said, you enter a question, you can run and upload, and some of the things that I mentioned in the previous slide, basically in terms of processing, you have the transformer architecture to process, that's responsible for processing your input, and then what it does is it breaks down the sentences, analyzes the relationship between one and the other, like we tried to explain previously. And then there's another technology that's responsible for self-attention. It's like if I have like a group of people, like different people, but then if I have maybe like 100 people in a room, and then everybody is wearing different kind of hats, and I'm meant to arrange people based on the kind of hats they wear so that they can form a particular, so that the output can be good enough for me, for instance. Now, this self-attention mechanism is like looking up at it, since the head is what you really need to see, looking from the top to see what kind of hat someone is wearing and say, okay, people wearing red hats, let them come first. The people wearing green, let them come second, so that I can form the particular color and output that I want. I hope this makes sense. Basically, that's what the self-attention mechanism does. Then the reinforcement learning, this happens when there's a training for every LLM, every large language model. There's training there's something called training data. That's the data that you input into them, so that after that they'll be able to kind of think on their own to process to process data and generate unique outputs like a human would, like a right thinking person would. So this basically that's what your input and processing and output feels like with LLM. Please move to the next thing. Oh, okay, yeah, we have. So self-attention, we talked about self-attention. It's basically helping you to focus on the relationship between one part of your input and the other, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to chain everything together and make sense and get the kind of output you get. Now, if there are situations where context isn't clear, in which case you have people wearing, if I still stick to the hat analogy earlier, if you have people wearing different shades of red hats and it's not clear enough, it's likely to have some kind of confusion when the LLM is trying to chain everything together to make sense. Now, and that's where our input, that's where paying special attention to what kind of inputs we have come into play. If you're inputting text, if it's hard to, like the previous example I gave about I sit to eat, if it's possible to form multiple sentences using the combination of words that I shared, the LLM is going to try and use its own context to know which sentence to form. In your mind, it might be I sit to eat, and then it would form. So when I say I sit to eat, I'm talking SEATTOEAT, right? If I use a combination of other words that can form something else easily, now the problem will be, should it be I sit to eat, or should it be I eat to sit? So it would require context to be able to define that. That's why a lot of the times when people throw prompts at LLMs, ChatGPT, others, let's just stick to ChatGPT because it's the most popular one. When people throw content at ChatGPT, it comes out with something else different from what you're expecting. So this is because of the way its technology is built and because of the way it's built to think, it comes up with something different because of the context it's had, or because of the pre-training like data set it used for training. So based on that, it will come up with something that's most easily available to it. Now, there's a part where because as you use, the more you use the LLM, the more, especially for people who sign in to use it, the more you use it, the more you learn about you, the more it understands your context. Of course, we're talking about people being careful with their data and how the privacy laws affect everything. But the more you use it, the more it starts to understand your context, and it more and more adapts to your use case. So after using it for a few months, some people will say, okay, what do you tell me about myself? And then it will give you something that's close to, to a large extent, close to what it thinks you are, because it's assimilated some of the data that you supply. So so the technology behind LLM is set like that. And the reason why you understand the technology and how LLM thinks is to help you with prompts. I don't know if I defined prompts here. Prompts are like inputs like what you type, inputs you supply to LLM to get the desired output. So that's prompt. So it helps you with prompts, prompt generation. You know what kind of prompt to put in if you want to get the right response. Next slide, please. So for instance, now I don't know how many people will understand this analogy. if you have a blender, a grinder, a blender for grinding maybe pepper, let's use that. You set it to, for the more advanced one, you can set it to grind whatever content to the level of fineness you require. There's some content that should not be very fine. So you can still need to write from input that, okay, as I pour this content into the grinder, by the time it comes out, it will come to the desired level of fineness that I require. Now, in the olden days, you didn't have that. You had grinders that would require, when you pour content into them and you turn on the grinder, what comes out is still kind of coarse. It's not as fine as you expect. So you need to sieve it, or you can pour it back into the grinder and regrind. And then you regrind until it gets to the level of fineness you require. That's kind of how the transformer model works. So if you depending on how you want it to come out, you might have to grind like 2 or 3 times before you get your required level of fineness. So for some people, depending on what they want the output to be, it may require reworks, maybe like 3 or so times. For some other people, it's the first one. By the time it's done with the first one, the outcome is good enough for them. And okay, well, we'll do that there's some example I want to give, but we'll do that in the next 2 slides. Please move to the next one. So yes, this is still, I mean, for us to know that the the quality of our output will be largely dependent on what we put in, on how well we try to work on our prompts. If our prompts are done effectively, then the output will be good enough. So basically, an important factor with LLM is word positioning. That's what affects the output the most. And the one of the technologies that I try to explain, the self-attention mechanism, is what enables the LLM focus on multiple content at the same time. For instance, if you need, when we're trying to arrange people according to their hat color, if you need if you needed like 100 or 10 people with red hats and they're scattered across the hallway, you're looking from on top. So it's easy for you to just quickly map them, okay, so you last person or you person in the middle, you need to move to the front because you're wearing red hat, etc. So that's basically how self-attention works. And we should be in 9. We should be in slide 9. Can you move back on slide, please? Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. But if there's any break, in my video, please let me know so I can go back. Okay, so excuse me. So to get the best results out of what's it called? Out of LLMs, there are 3 broad category of prompts that you should focus on. So the first one, I mean, there are 3. There's a descriptive, there's a role-based, and then there's prompt chaining. So the first one is descriptive prompt. For instance, you can say, provide clear instruction with details. Yet, like you're typing in, and then your prompt is that provide clear instructions with details for uh, performing a specific task. We will do this at the end of the after the last slide. We use this for a demo. You can say generate a 3-month marketing strategy for increasing engagement on social media for someone who is running so and so. You state the business you're running. So that's descriptive prompt. You're telling it exactly what you want it to do. Then the next one is role-based prompt. You can make it an advisor, say as a marketing consultant, explain that, explain these principles and help me with step-by-step procedure on execution. So that's role-based. Then the third one is prompt chaining. Prompt chaining would be great, especially for someone who's for instance, if you wanted to write a book, it's not a one-step process. So you can give the title, then you have it you have the LLM do a breakdown of the chapters. You take the first chapter, let it break it down. You take subtext in the chapter, like headings in chapters, let it break it down. So that's prompt chaining. At the end of the day, you're going to have to lump everything together to get like a finished product. But you're working the entire step without breaking. So because it knows that one step leads to the other. After you're done with chapter 1, it does chapter 2, etc. So these two, being able to feed in prompts like that as well will help you get the best out of it. For instance, let's can you share your screen, please? Let's see your ChatGPT. Let's test with prompt chaining. Okay, cool. Is this your signed out? Is this your signed out one,
No,
or
it's
are you
fine.
signed?
It's fine. We can use it. It's just a new chat. We can use it.
Okay, no. The reason why I'm asking is if it's signed in, then it's tailored to your profile. That's one of the things I was trying to say. It's tailored to your profile. But yeah, let's type as a marketing expert.
But it's a new chat, so no problem.
Okay, so type in as a marketing expert. Give me 5 strategies for increasing my social media engagement. Let me type that to you here. Scroll down so we can see everything you have. So we have this 5 bullet points, right? Now, excuse me. We may have questions about leveraging user-generated content, or we may have questions with the first one, or actually we may have questions with any of the options that have been given. So let's start with the first one. We'll go like how to create interactive content. Help give practical steps on how to create interactive content. So we see all the layouts, we see all the outputs for from just one questions. Now we can take the first one, expand it, we can keep expanding it until it gets to a point where it's easy to get a blow by blow set of activities to help you achieve exactly what you need to do. So basically this is an example of prompt chaining. So let's go back to this slide, please. So for anyone who's familiar with using LLMs, one other thing, go to slide next slide, please, slide 11. So everyone familiar with using ChatGPT or any other generative AI platform, one of the many things you should have found out is the fact that not all the information it gives you will be correct. Sometimes it gives you good information. Some other times it gives you like a wrong info. It's like you have a special assistant that can bold face like lie tell lies to your face without flinching. It will give you content and act like everything is perfect. And unfortunately, if it's not a subject matter area you're competent in, you won't know that you've just been lied to. You won't know you've been lied to. You take it as gospel facts or gospel truth. So to do we have anyone who's familiar with GPT line, like giving them false information? Is anybody who you can just put the content in the general group. Let's say if GPT or any LLM has ever lied to your face and you found out that it was lying, you asked it to supply data and it gave you something that was meant to be true, that's meant to be correct, you found out it wasn't. Nobody? Type in the general comment section. While we're waiting for people to type, can you go back to your GPT section, please? Share your screen on GPT, let's see. Yeah, you're in very good company. I mean, the can we share the GPT screen so we can try something else? Yeah, so let's start a new chat. Ask it to ask it to generate news content in Nigeria for in the past week. Okay, this is searching the web. Well, yeah, and that's one good thing about this. It can do that in real time. And this, the economic policy is. Okay, does anybody know if any of the stories here is a lie? Especially the political development.
They are actually accurate news. I've seen everything in the past blogs. So I
So,
believe they've
so the
upgraded.
political development one is true as well.
What did you say?
The one on political development, is it true? Number two.
Well, I mean, the Nigerian government had already removed subsidies, but it was not last week. It was immediately Tinubu was inaugurated, Abiy was sworn in, yes. So it's not the news.
Okay, so but we said over
It's
the past week, like we
yes,
defined last week, right?
yes.
Okay, so my favorite one is asking what cybersecurity incidents occurred in the past week. Ask it, let's see. Don't worry about spelling. Yeah. Yes, so I can confidently tell you that this didn't happen. Okay, yes, I don't think it happened last. I don't think it happened last week. Okay, so you repeat the initial question, right? Ask it to make it verifiable and supply like supporting content from a mainstream, yes, from mainstream news platforms. Yes, thank you. Do you notice any difference?
Yes.
Is it like there were some it showed at the initial one when we didn't ask it to verify that it's no longer showing?
Well, it's still showing the subsidy removal.
And did the subsidy removal happen last week? Did this click on the link? Let's see what it has. Yeah, that's another thing. If a link isn't clickable, it may be hard to trust it.
I think it's a bug. They have to work on it because it's supposed to be clickable.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've had situations where even though I asked it to provide links, when you click on the link, it will tell you the page you're trying to view does not exist. Yeah, make links clickable. Yes. Yes. Okay, it's a bug. It's probably the browser you're using. It's probably something with the browser you're using. But my point with this, yeah, don't worry. Let's go back to the slides. So with this, usually if you get the more specific and concise your question is, the more likely you are to get the right kind of response. The right kind of response. You be specific, create specific boundaries. Basically, if you're asking it to do anything, ask for sources, ask for a way to back up what you've asked for it to do, and then refine. If it doesn't come out, see how Michael was typing to say, okay, this didn't come out like I expect. Can you do something different, or can you find a way to solve the problem? Or in some cases, you can actually ask it to generate a PDF or a Word document that you can download, so that you'll be able to click whatever it is if it wasn't working for you. So doing all that will help you minimize the dangers of having ChatGPT feed you with lies. So, and there's no sector that can't benefit from leveraging GPT. You have it in law. You can summarize cases. You have it in technology. You can develop policies. You can work with it to create firewall rules. You can create actual designs from scratch for an enterprise environment. We'll do that at the end of the session. You can use it in an entertainment. Someone who has not had any like, if you're a new entrant into music and you don't know how to play guitar or whatever, you can generate beats and voice, and have you write lyrics for you that you can sing and master everything using the entertainment part of the generative AI. And basically, it can walk you through the process of starting or running your business using all the steps that we've talked about. So, okay, it says the content of this meeting is being sent to a third party. Yeah, I think we're fine. So a practical tips is, be concise with prompts. If you want something, be clear. We let your words align. And so, as non-native English speakers, this may be a problem for us, but after using GPT for a while, it will start to adapt to how you speak English and help you come out with stuff. Test and iterate is basically you put something in it, it doesn't come out exactly like you want, you refine and ask it to redo it until you get the best that you can. And excuse me, you can, if you have like a business process that's automated, there can be a way for you to make the automation easier. Or if it's not automated, there can be a way for you to use LLMs to facilitate automation. So if you do that, you're cutting a lot of middle steps and processes to make things go faster for you. So next slide, please. I think, yeah. So Is there anyone here who has a process they think, excuse me, who has a process they think we can make better using using ChatGPT? We'll go to the demo part, and I think we have a few minutes. If we have anyone within 1 minute or two, we can do that. Otherwise, we can just go to the e-commerce business model. We can start with that. So you can go to GPT so we can try. So it will be that I have an e-commerce business selling shoes online. Selling shoes online. Help develop the concept. Will help develop a concept to help with marketing. Yes, to help with marketing. That's one. Do that. Let's see. While it's doing that, we will also, okay. So my initial business idea is to sell shoes online. This is everything it gives me. Like we tried to break things down earlier. We're going to we can take this and like break down to smaller parts and ask it questions all the way until a full step-by-step documentation is complete that we can take and run. A random person can take this and sell it as a business idea, work with someone else to achieve this as some kind of business idea. Okay. So will it still let you do the next step?
Yes, it will.
Okay, so the next step is ask it to help you build a front end for the website you can use. Website for your online shoe e-commerce business. Yes. So ask it to write the complete code from end to end so that you don't have to do anything but just upload what it has. So ask it to give you step by step which one to do first, which one to do next, like a novice. So basically, by the time it's done, even if you've never programmed before, you've never done anything front end in your life, you can basically follow these instructions. If he asks you to install something, you can input, okay, how do I do that? And you can do all this from a free edition of ChatGPT, and there's paid edition that lets you do a lot more. So being able to use all this, I mean, you can start without having written a line of code in your life, and everything that it's outputted here, you can copy. Okay, you can copy everything here, and paste it back into it and say that this is what you're trying to achieve. Can you review this code to make sure it's okay? Or review this code and see if there's anything wrong with it that I need to fix and provide a fix. Yes. So well, yes, that's one way. We are trying to make it more beautiful, but you can actually just ask to, since you don't know how to write codes, you can copy, you can paste it in like it's a third-party code you're trying to review. So let it review and tell you what the problem is. If everything is perfect, or if there's a way it can make it better, yes. So it can be bugs, it can be anything. Yeah, so you see, even there was one that wrote the code. Now you're someone who was good at coding would understand that and probably fix those bugs, but you don't, so you are giving it back to it to do. Now you can ask it to write firewall rule to be deployed on a VPC, write a firewall rule to be deployed on a Linux VPC rule, RULE, to be deployed on a VPC running Ubuntu 22 to be deployed on a VPC, no VPC, virtual private virtual private client or something. Yes. To write a firewall to be deployed on a VPC running on Ubuntu 22. Yes, and explain every line. Okay. Yeah, you can ask it to explain every line of a firewall rule so that you understand what each rule is doing. So when it's done, you can copy that rule and paste it back into it, asking it to review for security, and it will do that and give you suggestions on what to do next. Yes, so while I would not advise that if you are not a security person to take on a security project, if you're someone who is looking to get into cybersecurity, this is, for instance, a good way to do this. You can do projects and work with GPT to make you better. But basically, to summarize, your prompts and how you treat GPT, like treat it like you have a personal assistant that's really, really knowledgeable that you can get a wealth of information from, but then you have to be clear and direct in your approach. You need to be able to provide context and never sleep on anything it gives you. You need to be able to find a way to verify or keep asking it to verify and ensure that whatever it's giving you is perfect the way you want it to be. So doing that doing that and taking into cognizance all the technology behind LLMs. I mean, explaining all the technology behind LLMs is meant to help us understand why it acts the way it acts, so that we know how to provide the prompt to help us get the best out of the LLM. So thank you so much for taking the time. If there are any questions, I'm willing to address them. Okay, so there's a question here. Does one run the risk of plagiarism using generative AI? So there's a way you can ask. There's a way you can ask questions, and then the output would be plagiarism, because some of the content that it's lifting might be like direct quotes from somewhere. However, if you train your prompt well enough, if you tailor your prompt well enough, the outcome is meant to be unique, unique to the person asking the questions. So yes, there could be plagiarism, but you have to be careful with that, and also be specific about. You can specifically ask it not to use direct words from content that would make you liable to plagiarism. So if you do that, it's likely to help you read, because you can copy direct quote and paste it in there and ask it to help you review and refine it, and then the outcome will be better. Are there apps? Yes, there are apps that detect AI content. There are apps that's how people detect plagiarism. And there's a way content from AI, there's a way the output is laid out that makes it easy that, okay, a person won't speak. It's the same way when you have AI that's mimicking someone, like they have a video of someone and then the AI is speaking. You hear the person's voice, but it's too robotic to be real. That's exactly how it is with AI. With content like text-based AI, you need to, if the content is too like robotic, sometimes there's a platform where you can humanize the output of AI. If AI generates something for you as an output, you can paste it in on those platforms, and it will humanize, it will make it sound more human-like. So, but again, if you've been using the AI for a long time, it will be easy for it to adapt to your style of speaking, because you keep correcting it. The output will keep being refined until it gets to a point where it works well for you. Oh, okay, they've been decommissioned. Okay, well, yeah, I know that there are still a few. The same way they detect plagiarism, they also have that too. Let me see any other questions. I don't see anything else. With this ability to generate, yeah, anything on how does one determine an authentic business from fake? Okay, so yes, basically any business online that requires that you input your credit card, your payment details, or use your whatever, pay a lot of attention to it. Excuse me. First, make sure that it's not a new website. Even if it's new-ish, like it just came up a few months ago, be careful. No. Also watch. There's there's certificates. There's a security certificates like SSL that people install on the web, like e-commerce websites. there's a specific one that's the hardest one to, well, one of the hardest ones to get. It's called extended validation, EEV SSL or SSL EV, whichever. And what this does is it gets all your incorporation details, your physical address, etc. etc. So by the time you, if someone opens your website, they see your name on they see your name in their web browser, so verifying that it's you. If once you have that, it's easier for you to know that this person is not fake. But for others, be careful, because excuse me, because even for sites, even for businesses that may not necessarily be fraudulent, their websites may have been hijacked, and everything you're sending there is going directly into a fraudster. But anytime you have to enter your e-commerce details online, be careful. It's your responsibility to ensure that the website is a genuine website. So, any other questions? Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for taking the time. I hope I hope a lot of people were able to benefit from this. So
Thank you so much, the IIM. Thank you so much for your insightful, educative presentation. It was practical. It was reality. A lot of us use ChatGPT and other ones, and it was well thought out. Thanks so much. And if you don't have any further questions, we might have to move to the next point of the webinar. Thank you so much for that. There's a lot we can do, but again, it's always good to verify, to know what you want the ChatGPT to do for you. Like what you want to add, what you want the AI to do for you. Then, depending on what your business is, you need to be able to, if you have the data in your business, you can generate AI that can help you to bring things together to solve problems. So thanks so much, Mr. Ayo, for that. So the next one is we call upon our able president, please, to give us his words before we call on members, the acting members of the Institute. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Today, please, over to you. Remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Lago, for the introduction, and a very big thank you to our eminent speaker for a wonderful presentation as usual. We're indeed grateful that you're honoring our invitation again this year. And I believe we all have learned a lot tonight, as we all know that AI has actually come to stay. Yes, let's mute if we're not speaking. Like we all know, AI has actually come to stay, and the need for us to ensure that we see that as opportunity as against threats cannot be overemphasized. It is there for us to leverage on and take advantage of in achieving our day-to-day business objectives. So thank you very much, Mr. Balogun, once again for the presentation. I also want to thank each and every one of us that has been part of today's presentation, right from when we started till this present time. I want to encourage us to continue to be part of this monthly session. We've got a lot to offer in the area of education and awareness, and the Institute of Information Management is poised to ensure that we promote data governance and security in every organization. So thank you. As we look forward to seeing you all again next month for another wonderful webinar. But before then, I will hand over back to our moderator to also allow other interim executive council members here today to introduce themselves. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, as our international president. Okay, we call on to the various interim council members that are here. Please kindly unmute your mics and introduce yourself briefly. You just have, each of you have 10 seconds, please, to introduce yourself. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you, Miss. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful moderation, Mr. Anago. Mr. President, thank you very much. And for our great lecturer of today, the presenter, I thank you for that great and insightful presentation. We have learned a lot. Princess Dr. Tiwala Defakunda, the chairman of IIM Education Committee. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thanks, everyone. We have seen that we have recorded a very large number of people that have attended. Continue to attend and you will learn more and you will become the best version of yourself. Thank you, everyone. Good night and God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Princess.
Good evening all. My name is Dr. Taiwo Ileye. I represent the Research and Development Committee. Thank you, Mr. Ayo Balogun, for a great presentation. We've learned a lot. I thank Mr. Napo, our international president, and other members of the interim exco, and our fellow colleagues. Thank you very much for attending. I'm sure we'll make use of all this to better our institutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Ephraim Nze Odoji. I represent the award. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Anago and our lecturer today. I've learned a lot today that will help me in my work and my research. And also say a big thank you to our able international president for organizing this. It's something that worth thousands of naira or thousands of dollars to learn, but we are here learning it free. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, House. My name is Dr. Paul T. Adebayo. I represent the membership working group. I want to thank God for the international presidents for organizing this wonderful webinar. I appreciate the presenter for the nice presentation. We have learned and will continue to learn and pray for grace to use those truths that we have learned. I also appreciate Mr. Anago for always moderating and presenting well in the most excellent ways. We appreciate you. I encourage you all as members of IIM Africa to continue to sustain your membership in the organization by renewing your membership or by upgrading it when necessary. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Next, we have another one.
Good evening, everyone. This is Seth Agbameyan, the Vice President for the Ghana chapter. I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming. It's an opportunity to learn. Thank you to the presenter. It's very insightful and educative, and I really appreciate the training. And I encourage all to invite others to join. I've tried my best to encourage my team members, but I think because it's a weekday, they were all in the office, very busy. But going forward, I think you'll see more Ghanaians on the page. To our international president, thank you very much for the opportunity, and we hope to see more as we have seen today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Seth. Let's keep them coming. Or council member, thanks. That was Seth from Ghana. Do you have anyone from UK, South Africa, US? Okay, time zone. All right. So, like I mentioned before, we'll, as a normal routine, we might like to have group photographs. So before then, just some announcements. I'm seeing some requests for how to contact for monthly programs. I'll put the email address on the chart. Contact training at iim-africa.org for all your inquiries for the programs. We have a calendar on our website that has all the programs for the year. So probably by November, you will release the program for 2025. So it's always done, it's always there. It's on the website, you can go and download it. For more details, contact the head office. You can send a mail to training@iim-africa.org is on the group. Also, for the recording, those in good standing, you will get that for your webinar certificates. One good thing there is that for we professionals, it's very important to have your continuous professional development. That's what the webinar does. Continuous learning is good. Submitting of CP, which is the requirement from the institute to take you to the next level. Okay, so thank you so much. We have our program coming up in Abuja this month. So I encourage everyone to be there. You will see a lot of it on the various social media pages. Thank you. Do we have the PR, interim council member for PR? She here? Okay. All right, so without any further delay, can you please turn on our cameras, please?
I think we have Professor Jai Simi online. Prof, would like to hear from you.
The Prof, please.
So while others turn on their cameras, I think that can go on by the side.
Prof, are you speaking, please? Okay, we have
about.
about...
Is it Prof or both? Okay.
Maybe it's the network.
Professor Jai Simi, our acting UK Vice President.
I think it's the network challenge.
Okay, so we have 2 pages here. So I'll take the first page. Most of us didn't turn on our camera. Okay, that's understandable for privacy purposes. We understand. Okay. So we'll take this. This is evidence that we attended this, apart from the attendance sheets that we have from the we'll take the first page.
Let's see.
Here we say cheese. Oh, that's good. Okay. In the first page.
I think other distinguished II members too can introduce themselves, their location, and their membership grade.
Hello, good
Mr.
evening, sir.
Nago, are we done with the
No, please.
photograph?
No, I've just taken the first set. We have
Okay.
2 pages. I just had the first page, so.
The floor is open for members that are ready for their self-introduction while we take the pictures.
Good evening, everybody.
Mr. Nago, your camera is not on, or am I mistaken?
Who be that? Who be that? Okay. Next. Adeyinka Adeyemo Olawale, okay.
You can go ahead with your introduction, please.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I am Engineer Dr. Akinbebi Adamlola from Akure, Ondo State.
Your membership grade, please.
Fellow member.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, all. My name is Hassan Bernard from Lagos. I'm an associate member of the Institute. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. That's Dr. Jimmy.
Good evening, all.
Good evening,
wonderful
sir.
presentation, nice gathering, greater heights with good success in all your way by the special
Amen.
grace of God.
Amen.
Dr.
Thank you,
Jumi
sir.
Adetoyesho Lagunju, Fellow, Institute of Information Management, Africa, and the past Director of Awards years back. God bless you all. Thank you.
Amen. Nice
Thank
having
you,
you.
sir. Mm-hmm.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
I am Bulu Speaker from Jos, a senior professional member. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
I've taken all the pictures.
My name
Good
is
evening, sir.
Generative from Port Harcourt, fellow member.
Nice having you.
Good evening.
everyone. My name
Good
is
evening, everyone.
Dolali Abdulali from Lagos, senior professional member.
Good evening, everyone. Professor Rotimi Jayasimi from the United Kingdom, fellow of the Institute and acting interim president for the UK chapter.
You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ogbara Ahmed, a senior professional of the Institute.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Godfrey Joseph from Lagos. I'm a professional member of the Institute.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And good evening, everyone. Good evening, my international president. Good evening, the presenter. And this is Sokeprem Bob Manuel White Gladstone, senior professional member, proud senior professional member of the Institute.
Good.
Thank you.
Where are you from, sir?
My location is Lagos, but asking where I'm from, it's a tribe from River State.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabriel Akinremi. I'm very happy to be on this platform this evening, calling in from Abuja, fellow member of the Institute. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to know more of you because some of us are based in Abuja and I don't think I know you, sir.
All right, ma.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor. And I'm a professional member of I enjoyed this class and I learned so much about AI. Thank you so much for the lecture, sir. Good evening. I'm just coming from work now. Sorry.
Thank you for attending.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Umar Mohamed Bameyi, fellow member, though very floating. I'm calling from Lagos. I want to say thank you to the international president and the lecturer for a very good job. Well done. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Bameyi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
My name is
evening.
Esther Inwafu. I'm a professional member and I'm based in Lagos. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was quite insightful.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Anthony, professional member. I'm calling from Oka. It's always been a wonderful time whenever we have a webinar like this, and I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Kelechi Baranta. I'm a fellow member of the Institute. And I want to thank the international president very well and for the speaker for such a very insightful and practical delivery. Thank you very much.
Good evening,
everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Stella Maduke from Kenya. I'd like to thank the president for the invite. I'm a visitor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. How are our people in Kenya?
You're fine.
Very good. Our greetings to them.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the introduction.
Thank you.
Do we have more persons to introduce themselves?
Good evening, Ms. Mobolaji from Lagos, a fellow member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the section, the presenter, and thank you, my president and all the other executives.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, good evening,
Hello,
everyone.
good evening, everyone.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm
Good evening.
primary teacher, the coordinator for Anambra chapter and supervisor of IIM Coordinators Network. It was a practical section and it was really nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have more persons.
Matthias, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good everyone, and thank you. It's nice being here. I think this is my first lecture attending, my first lecture. My name is Matthias Tokunde. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. It's glad to be here. Thank you so much. I'm a fellow member, just to mention. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So back to our able moderator. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for Introducing yourself, my humble self, Ambassador Alexander M. Dosianago, fellow of our great institute, and we keep working. So I just want to encourage every one of us to join various committees of the institute, right? We have a lot of interim chairpersons that introduce themselves. We encourage everyone to join the various committees, the educational committee, research committee, award committee. We have certification committee. There's a lot in the institute you're going to benefit from. As members, it's not enough to only be a member, just your contribution is very important. And that is why you have different levels of being a member of the institute. So we urge you, we encourage you to be a member of those various committees. A lot is happening, we are tracking it. We give tasks to the various committees. We follow up to ensure that the various committees are meeting their mandates established by our international president and board members. We have a lot we need to do for our government, we need to do for the country, we want to do for the continent. So please, we share ideas across continents. So because we're not only in Nigeria. So across the world, we share ideas. We encourage members to come from all over, be part of any of the committees, and let's add value as always. Thank you so much. Philip Momodebe wanted to say something? You want to introduce yourself? Okay. Go ahead, Philip. Philip, we can't hear you, please. Oh, I think, Philip, your mic is unmuted, but you're speaking, we can't hear. Oh, it's unfortunate. Sorry there. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I've taken out the pictures. Wish you a good night rest for those of us in Nigeria. Those of us in the UK, we have the same time zones. Those of us in Ghana, we have the same time zones. Those of us in the US, different time zones. It's still afternoon your side. Good afternoon. But for the rest of us in Nigeria, we say we have a good night rest, and God keep us safe. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for the Executive Council members. We look forward to seeing you for the next edition. And all the list to Abuja. Thank you very much. You have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you. Good night.
Philip, you can type your comments, please. Type it in the chat box.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Philip, you can type your comments in the chat box, please.
Yes, thank you. He's now muted. Good. We can hear you now, Philip.
Can hear you now.
Okay, my name is Philip Olorundare Momodibe. I'm a new fellow member from Abuja. Thank you.
So we like to see you. We would like to see you in Abuja.
Sure. Thank you.
So we're looking forward to having you all at the Abuja Summit on the 26th of October at the Central Business District. Hope we all will attend.
God's willing. Sure.
Yeah, we'll be there by God's grace, sir.
So we're there live.
That'll be great. Thank you, and have a wonderful night rest.
All right, sir. Thank you too.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
I came in very late. I'm so sorry about that.
Dr. Gusolu, good evening.
Good evening, sir. I came in very, very late. My other phone was messing up, so I couldn't join on time.
I can imagine.